Hi, my name is Bavishiya Jeyakumar and I will be addressing aims 1 and 2. Our first aim was to identify what attributes were the most important to female respondents. Through conducting the repeated measures ANOVA, we identified the p-value from the Hunefeld test is 0.00, which is less than 0.05. Thus, we reject our null, which states that women find all car attributes to be equally important. Following this, we analyzed the descriptive statistic model to identify which car attributes are most important and by how much. We found that the most important car attributes were safety with a mean of 1.26, followed by comfort with a mean of 1.65, and styling with a mean of 1.89. These attributes were all rated between 1 and 2, meaning they were considered as very to extremely important. Hence, dealerships should invest more money in providing cars whose strongest attributes are safety, comfort, and style. They should also ensure that dealership staff highlight these attributes when they are selling cars. Furthermore, Aim 5 concluded that women focus more on car attributes as opposed to dealership attributes, thus emphasizing the importance of improving these criteria in cars sold at dealerships. Our second aim was to identify dealership attributes that are most important to female respondents. And while this is not as important to our female respondents as car attributes, our findings provide integral insight for managers to further attract female consumers to their dealership. We again used the repeated measures ANOVA to find the p-value in the Hunefeld test is 0.00, which is again less than 0.05. So we reject the null, meaning females place varying importance in car dealership attributes. Then, through the descriptive statistic model, we identify the most important attributes in the order overall atmosphere, additional perks provided, overall layout of the store, and location, as their means between 2 and 3 show that respondents agree the most regarding their importance. Thus, dealerships should improve upon these attributes to differentiate themselves from their competition who provide similar products.
Hi, I'm Shiyi, and I'll be presenting Aim 3, which discusses if the annual household income is an important attribute to women's decision on owning a car. Regarding question 10 and 11 of the survey, Aim 3 looks at whether women's decision on owning a car is affected by the annual household income. To begin with, a chi-square test is performed to investigate the significance of relationship between the one nominal and one ordinal variable. The test reports that for chi-squares equals to 12.610 and a p-value of 0.013, which is less than 0.05, the null is rejected with strong evidence against it. And a significant relationship was found between the annual household income and whether owning a car or not. To better understand this relationship, a correlations test was performed, and it was found that there is a significant yet quite weak negative linear relationship between the variables for p equals to 0.001 and r equals to negative 0.195. Considering this and the relative frequency distribution available from cross-tabulation, it is revealed that the distribution of car owners is positively skewed towards the lower income range, implying that the lower income earners are more likely to purchase a car. However, there are 52.6% of respondents in the low income range and only 4.18% in the high income range, presenting an uneven number of respondents in each category. Without a comprehensive range of respondents from different groups, the dataset and results from tests are potentially biased. By inquiring into the relative frequencies, it is then found that women in higher income earners' families, that is over $75,000, are more likely to own cars. Therefore, as annual household income is proven to be effective on women's decision of owning a car, dealerships may consider focusing on targeting women in this income range to maximize their revenue performance.
I'm Daniella Popovic, and I will be discussing occupation status and whether it is a significant attribute in owning a car. So Aim 4 investigates whether an occupation status for women is a significant attribute in owning a car. A chi-square test was conducted to determine if there was a significant relationship present, as it is used to assess the association between categorical variables. 25% of the cells returned an expected count less than 5, which would require the data to be recoded. However, we were unable to recode the data as both cells fit into the unemployed category, and that would nullify the result. By performing a chi-square test, the null hypothesis is rejected and it is concluded that a significant relationship was determined between owning a car and the current occupation status of the woman. However, students in the major group of respondents in the survey, and this could potentially skew the result, as they are least likely to be owning a car compared to women who are employed full-time, part-time, or are unemployed. Therefore, 61% of the data is potentially biased in presenting the relationship between owning a car and the current occupation status of women. The dataset is also missing respondents who are homemakers or retired, therefore that could be a factor in presenting inaccurate results. Thus, when considering the target segment, the dealership may look at potential female buyers mainly from the unemployed and employed category rather than students.
Hi, my name is Margaret Cochrane, and I will be discussing aim number 5, which is, do the female respondents focus more on car attributes or the dealership? We decided that this would be a good aim to analyze because it will allow the dealership to focus in on whether they should focus on the dealership and how it operates and appears, or how the dealership staff sells the specific qualities of their cars. To test this aim, we ran a one-sample t-test because we are given one continuous variable and one categorical variable. And we are trying to see how the rating of I focus on car specifics rather than the dealership compares to the population mean. By looking at the p-value, we found in the one sample t-test that our results should reject the null hypothesis since the p-value was 0.000. This means that there is a statistical difference in whether respondents focus on car specifics rather than the dealership. The mean found in the one sample statistics model is 2.33. Which means that the respondents of the survey agree that they focus more on the car specifics rather than the dealership. Thus, the dealership should really emphasize the car attributes that the females find most important, which are safety, comfort, and styling, which is discussed in aim 1, and that should be seen in their advertisements, how they talk to their customers during the time they come into the store, and just in every way possible.
Hi, I'm Shiyi Wang. I'm going to analyze M6, which is the internal and external sources important for female to obtain the car information. Do female rely more on information from external sources or internal information from the dealership? In this case, external sources is question 2.5 in the survey, which is I consider source of information other than what the dealership provides me. Internal source is question 2.4 in the survey, which is dealership provides me with helpful information. We conducted 2 separate one-sample t-tests to identify whether the external sources and internal sources are important for women. The left one is for external and the right one is for the internal. Both tests gave us a significant p-value, which is 0.000. So we reject non-hypothesis and conclude that both internal and external sources are important for the female to obtain car information. Furthermore, we want to identify whether female rely on more information from external sources or internal sources. So we conducted a pair sample t-test, and we can see from the diagram, the p-value is significant, which is 0.001. Reject the non-hypothesis and conclude that there are differences in importance given to internal and external sources. Then by comparing the sample mean, internal one is 2.85, which is slightly higher than the external sources 2.5. So concluded that women are relying more on internal information that provided by the dealership than external information outside the car dealership. Therefore, it is important for the dealership to provide comprehensive and detailed information about the car to female consumers.